So what I really want to talk about is software, and 3 points that I want to make are: what does a user, specifically the trading world, need from its software? How do we go from an idea to a finished product? And what are we going to see next in software design and functionality? So I needed to give you a little bit about my background as an architect and whatnot to start talking about Vitruvius, because Vitruvius was a Roman architect, and he wrote a book called De Architectura. It's the only known surviving major work about architecture from the Roman times, from classical antiquity. And pretty much all that we know about Roman building techniques and Roman architecture is from him and his writings. It's also called the 10 Books of Architecture, and every aspiring architect, everyone in school, has to learn about his writings. He inspired the Greeks to come up with the architectural orders, and he inspired, centuries later, Leonardo da Vinci to make this iconic drawing of what's called Vitruvian Man. And it all relates to how the human occupies space and the proportion. And Vitruvius really inspired everyone to think about how the human occupies the building or space. And you're asking, well, what does this have to do with software? But you'll often hear mention of human factors when we talk about software. So human factor engineering, according to Wikipedia, is the study of designing equipment and devices that fit the human body and its cognitive abilities. So that fit the human body and its cognitive abilities. It's a whole discipline within software engineering, and this is exactly what Vitruvius was getting after in his writings. His main assertions were that a structure must exhibit 3 qualities: Firmitas, Utilitas, and Venustas. And translated, these means it must be solid, it must be useful, and it must be delightful. So this would satisfy both the body and the mind of the user. So as a guide for software development, you can't really go wrong with Vitruvian principles. Firmitas, it's got to be usable, it's got to be solid, it's got to be stable. Software that doesn't work is worth nothing. It must perform as expected, or what's the point, right? I'm not going to spend too much time on that because it's a given. But the third point, Venustas, delight, that is all about the user experience. And that's where you can really differentiate. Has anybody here ever written a line of code? Wow, lots, okay. Well, I've written about 1 line of code, and I know that putting in, a command line to say hello world and getting the computer spit out hello world is pretty easy. That's not the real challenge. But when I go to tell a user how to put in this box hello world and make it blue and make it italic and then hit this button and make sure it comes out all right, that's all about the user experience. And if it's easy, it's delightful, and if it's not easy, it's a pain in the neck. And on that, I just want to think about this for a minute. So the big question is, can we design professional trading software that is actually useful and delightful? Can we have it all? Trading software is notoriously rich in data. Thousands of numbers, scores of tables, grid upon grid, lots of moving and configurable parts. It's often only very utilitarian. We strive for making that usable software also simple. Our flagship product, Xtrader, has a myriad of configurable options. So if we asked 100 different users what's most important to you, they'd probably give us 99 different answers. But we've also found out that some of those things overlap. And those are 100 users, and there's the point of intersection. We call this the minimum viable product, MVP, minimum viable product. So we're now in the process of building a new platform, soon to be in beta. And when we decide to create something new, what do we do first? Well, we focus on this. We do have the benefit of 20 years of history behind us. So we know what's in our current software, we know what our users use the most, and we know what basic tools they need. But we also have some baggage. We have 20 years of inertia and old code. And we didn't want to just take all the features of Xtrader, our flagship, and put it into the new stuff. Because people rely on our software. We didn't want to change things up too much. They rely on it every day for millions of dollars of trading, and it's really mission-critical software. So without spending weeks or months of coming up with a huge library of specifications that just kind of weigh you down and make you sleepy and you don't want to read them, we decided to get real with our software with this next iteration. And what Getting Real means was codified in a book by Jason Fried, who wrote Getting Real. And I'd encourage you to read it. It's kind of a new way of doing software, but if you don't want to read it, just listen to me. I'll give you the SparkNotes version, and I know you all know what SparkNotes are because you've just come out of college, or you're just in college, so I know you've used them. Getting Real espouses the concept of going from an idea to the web very quickly. You don't have to get bogged down in figuring out all the answers right at the beginning. You can kind of let the problems come up when they come up. And what this buys you is real working software early on that you can put in front of users and get real live feedback very quickly. So, do you just wing it? No, you don't just wing it. You reach out to your customers like we did. We have offices in Singapore and London and Houston and Brazil. And we hear what the customers want and what they say they need. But then we write a couple of pages of requirements, and we do whiteboard scenarios and diagrams. We share ideas with each other over beers. We have an in-house tap, so we have the tech tap there. We have beers, and we talk about ideas. And we create wireframes and prototypes using different prototyping tools that really allow us to feel what the software is going to be like before a user gets to use it. And again, we're trying to make the complex simple. Through these prototypes and real-world testing, we try and make an interface that is usable, nice to use, but also utilitarian. So when we land on something we like, we create the first iteration. We put it out there, and we let our users tell us if we hit it or not. Now, can we put it out to our real traders? Not just yet. We're fortunate at TT that we have an in-house trading group that is basically works as our alpha testing group. They make sure the software works in a reliable fashion, and it enables us to get the feedback and make changes before we really do put it out in the world. So the software doesn't really just spring fully formed from the hands of developers, but we iterate on it. We talk to them, they send us feedback, and we keep going until we're confident that we have enough mileage on it that we can call it production ready, and software truly is delightful and usable. And then we can iterate in the same fashion about what's coming next. And I'm sure you're asking, well, what is next? What are traders demanding for the future? So at TT, we're the next generation platform that we're building is we're leveraging private data centers in the cloud to make software that's mobile. So we're making mobile apps. You guys take it for granted, you pick up your phone, there's an app for everything you want to do today, but in the professional trading world, not so much. It hasn't been the norm up until very recently, and so we're making an Android app and we're making an iOS app. And we're also distributing our software as a service. We're using the cloud to do that. Keeping it as a software as a service allows us to streamline our software delivery and free our customers from expensive hardware that they have to maintain. And we're also building the back end so that almost any kind of front end can attach to it. For now, we're doing web, we're doing mobile, and that's enough for now. But who knows, in the future, we could be doing Google Glass, we could be doing Oculus Rift, we could be doing iWatch. Who knows what's next? I think you guys will probably have to deal with some of those technologies before I will. But I will tell you that if you're interested in getting into financial software, or any of those technologies, you should remember Vitruvius. You should create software that is solid, that is useful, that is delightful, that's easy to maintain and quick to fix. And you'll be able to satisfy your customers well into the future, at least as long as Vitruvius has been inspiring architects in the past. Tweet it.